This is Singles Exchange. Let's talk, let's hang. This is Singles Exchange. Singles Exchange.
All right, welcome back to Singles Exchange. Happy New Year. We are so excited to be here. We are Singles Exchange, a podcast that focuses on conversations, connections, and community. As always, I am your host, Joy J, and I am so excited to be back here. It's been way too long. I am happy to be here, and I have some very special guests. But before we talk about them, I want to give you guys a normal rundown. If you are new to Singles Exchange, welcome. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Singles Exchange on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and whatever your podcast streaming platform is. That's a mouthful, but it's okay. So we're going to hop right in. A few months ago, we started our Discourse on Dating series, introducing you guys to our main staff. We talked to the ladies, we got to know them a little better. And the gag is we technically have two staffs. We have a male staff and a female staff. So today, I am here to introduce you guys formally to the phenomenal male staff. So I am going to let everybody introduce themselves. I'll start with Sheris. Go ahead and tell the people about you.
Hello, exchangers. My name is Sheris Wells. Um, I don't really know what to say. Let's see. I am married to my beautiful, wonderful, awesome wife, Jasmine. We've been married for 4 years. It'll be 5 in October. I'm a minister at Mount Nebo Missionary Baptist Church. Yeah, that's me. I went to Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, studied political science. Here we are.
Cool. And for those of you that listen to the first staff podcast, Jasmine was our camera lady. So shout out to Jasmine and Sherry. Next up, we have Brennan. He can go ahead and introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brennan. Joy is my best friend. I've been friends with her for a super, super long time. But I'm a social worker, went to DePaul University, got my master's in social work. I work with survivors of domestic violence. So aside from that, I love to travel and I absolutely love to eat anything and everything. Give it to me.
My man.
That's what I'm.
It's a feast.
Next up, we have Justin, brother Justin.
Hey, everybody, I'm Justin, musician. It's kind of like my main thing, entrepreneur. I am married to Trinity Murray from the female staff. That is bae, that is boo, that is wife.
Yeah.
That is me. God bless you. The Lord is kind. Yeah, I went to SIUE too. That's kind of how I met Sheris and Fonzo, which you'll meet later. And Joy. Look at that. We bless God.
Hallelujah.
But yeah, that's me.
And last but certainly not least, though.
I still feel the least, but I'm not bitter. My name is Alfonso Jones. I am a musician / CEO of Fonzie Productions.
You're running, Doc.
Yes, sir. I also went to SIU Edwardsville. I am currently a full-time musician in quarantine. So if you need tracks, if you need producing, I got you. Hit me up. No, I'm joking. I'm not gonna do that. But I had the pleasure of meeting all of these humans through SIUE and through the gospel choir, and have become friends.
Yeah.
And I love them all.
We love you too. And Zozo just had a birthday, so happy birthday again.
I'm old.
And he did say that he does tracks, but he's not kidding. He does tracks and Justin does tracks. So hit them up, okay? We want to support our people. Y'all know quarantine has been rough on the pockets. So support y'all people, okay? So we're gonna do this the exact same way that we did the ladies. I'm gonna ask them some questions that they do not know what they are, and then they're gonna ask me some questions, and I do not know what they are. I have no clue. I am not responsible for whatever happens. Oh, before we get started, if you're watching this on the video, I'm sure you see my jacket. Check out Splat by Lisa J. Lisa J came through. I wanted to get the ladies a really nice gift. I didn't think the guys would want to wear blue jean jackets, so we're gonna have to get them something else. But I did get the ladies these really nice blue jean jackets. So check out Splat by Lisa J. And the guys will have something coming real soon, but I can't tell them what.
Not much.
Oh, surprise, surprise. So I am going to start asking my questions in no particular order. Like I said, the guys don't know what I'm about to ask. And we're gonna see how this goes. So I'm gonna call on Brandon first because he's my best friend and I've known him the longest. So I go him the most. Brennan, what makes a woman unattractive?
What makes a woman unattractive? So I would say a few things. Not being sure of herself. I would say, I wouldn't say overconfidence. I would say arrogance. I don't like arrogance. It's fine to be confident in yourself, but if you're too much, then that's immediate turn off.
Okay.
I'll leave it there. There's three other guys, so I'm sure they have plenty more to say.
Right. Anybody else want to chime in?
Yeah, when she just dumb. Like that girl is man. Like when she just cute, but she beautiful, but then she open her mouth and just be dumb. Like, oh, what a waste.
I don't like a nasty attitude either.
That's something I like a nasty attitude. Share anything you want to add?
I'm not a person who likes people who talk a lot without saying anything. So people that do that, it just blows me, and it's an immediate no. Just no.
Cher's also
I'm
who ain't
sorry.
been.
Say again, Justin.
Cher's not like women who ain't been dipped.
Like an Italian beef sandwich from Chicago.
You gotta be baptized.
One thing that also is a turn out to me is broke women, like women who expect to be living off of somebody else's pockets. Like that is a huge turn off. Like get your own.
Something to the table.
At least. I mean, I heard this saying. They said coochie can't pay no bills. So.
Depends on who you ask.
I was just about to say that.
Some very famous people that, yeah.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
I'm talking about like you can't walk into like well maybe you could. Never mind.
Sure can.
I retract that. I think T-Mobile definitely takes cooch.
So, all right. Next question is for Sherris. Sherris, why is it important for Singles Exchange to have a male staff?
Well, let's go with a lot of singles events, and I haven't been to one in a long time. But a lot of singles events, a lot of singles ministries and things like that are geared from at least our perspective towards women. And when you go to them, it's normally a bunch of females and like 3 dudes. So it is very important to have a male staff just to get other perspective. You need to see what men are interested in talking about when it comes to posts and things like that. And a male staff helps the viewpoints and the comments of things not just be skewed in one direction. I'm the type of person who likes to play devil's advocate. So I will hop on a post and give a dissenting opinion in a hot second. And so having the male staff kind of offers that to any singles event or anything that's going on.
What's interesting is the next question is for Justin, and it was literally, why do you think guys don't participate in singles groups or events? So Justin, is there anything you want to add to that?
Probably because of that reason. I have witnessed a lot of like groups of women have certain ideologies about men, and it's just the same thing with a lot of men and fathers about Father's Day. Like men now hate like Father's Day, going to church on Father's Day because what I'm saying, they get bashed a lot, and so a lot of these same things happen at singles events. Like like Sherry was talking about, like it's full of women, handful of dudes, and then we don't get a chance to really be transparent or the truth out about us because we're outnumbered, outviewed, outvalued, so we just don't, we just rather not deal with it. So
Understandable. Anybody else want to contribute to that?
Nah, I think they hit it on the head.
Yeah.
Some
I
bias.
to be a woman that has been to many singles events, it is very biased. It is typically very one-sided. And that was actually one of the reasons why I asked you guys to step in, because I realized that our audience is majority women, and the content that we are producing attracts a lot of women, but that don't do nothing if it's nobody for them to talk to but each other. So excellent. So you are next.
I'm not ready. I'm
You can
scared.
be ready. Your question is, what do you think is the media's worst depiction of love and relationships? So you have tons of TV shows, and some are reality shows, some are like sitcoms, and just couples in general that we see in the media. But what do you think is the media's worst depiction of love and relationships?
I think it's two things. I think it's the happily ever after ideology, and then it's also the there's a guy to take care of you ideology. Um, I feel like they kind of present the damsel in distress all the time, whereas it's like, oh my god, I've been in this terrible situation, and then the guy comes, and now I'm happy. And I feel like that is an unrealistic ideology that a lot of people have been trained to believe. And then when it comes into real life, it's a disappointment, and now they don't know how to cope. So those are, and I think those two things go hand in hand. It's just like they present an unrealistic expectation that often brings disappointment and causes people to not know how to cope.
Nice. Anybody want to add to that? What's the worst depictions in the media? Cheers.
I think my answer is gonna make a lot of people a little perturbed, but I don't really care. So I think any of the love and hip hops are horrible depictions of romance or relationships, especially black relationships. Like on all of them, they go to the extremes, and all the media shows is they cussing each other out. Nobody likes anybody else. They all backstabbing. The few friends you have, you can't really trust them because you never know what they're gonna turn around and say once they get into these confessionals and things like that. And so while I do enjoy watching them every now and again, I think it's a horrible representation of relationships. We not all out here cussing each other out. Some of us do know how to work out our disagreements and discussions. Um, yeah, that's just me.
Yeah. So
Okay, so
I just want to also, I think there's a celebration of toxic traits
absolutely.
that the media definitely perpetrates, and and I think people kind of mistake that as that's how a relationship's supposed to be. Like if I'm not arguing with my man and giving him a hard time, then he don't love me, you know, that type of stuff.
Actually, this episode is scheduled to air the last week of January, and our theme for that week is crazy and cute. And we're talking about toxic relationships and how people kind of glorify this standard that says we got to cuss and argue and fight and beat each other upside the head to say we love
Nah,
each other. So I'm excited
nah,
to jump into that.
nah. They ain't gotta do that. Cut that out. It's terrible.
It's
Stop
awful.
it.
It's awful. So
I'm serious. Like drama, I think that's another trait that I feel like if we go back to Brendan's question, drama is the most unattractive thing. Like for me, like if you don't know how to function like as a normal human being, and you just want to fight about everything, you want to just argue about everything, you want me to garner a response that allows you to respond more. Like that is the most unattractive trait to me.
I agree. Totally agree. All right, round two. Everybody ready?
I'm scared.
Okay, the first question in this round is Justin. So, Justin, What is one thing that you learned about yourself or about life during your single experience? So, a little background: Justin got married 7 months ago.
Mhm.
Um, so he is by definition a newlywed. And I would love to know what is one thing that you learned that you think helps you now in your marriage.
You said one thing I learned while I was single, right?
So single as in not married.
Right. Um, One, like the biggest thing I think is just the importance of just being a whole person. Like I think I knew it, but it was actually my father who like gave me the statement that kind of the way he put it kind of like really made it make sense even more. He was like, marriage is one times one, not half plus half.
That's good.
And, you know, just the importance of being okay with you, you know, even like in my experience where I had a long distance relationship, like I had to be, you know, I can't be cuddled up and booed up all day. Like she's literally not here. Like so, I got to be cool with chilling by myself. I got to be cool with, you know, finding something productive to occupy my time, and you know, be okay with building, especially um, in the time where you know we're planning a wedding, planning where we're gonna live. How you like? Also understanding my responsibility as a husband. Like I have to be building something, be ready to lead something, have something for my wife to come into. So I can't just be sitting here chilling, you know, all day and then expect things to just fall into my lap. Like, so just the importance of just being a whole person, being okay with Justin, you know, and not having to, almost like the reverse, I think, of what Zoe was talking about with like, you know, a woman like being fully dependent on the man and kind of like the opposite too. Like I can't be fully dependent on the wife for everything or dependent on a woman for everything. Like I got to be a whole person. So
That's good. Anybody want to add to that? No.
That was good.
It was very good. Okay. Sharis, you're next. Sharis, this question came from one of the lady staffers. That was not me. But it's a good question. What was the hardest part about adjusting to married life coming from two different backgrounds? So I'll let Sharis tell you about how Jasmine is spoiled because she is. um, but basically, how did you have to coming from two different backgrounds? What was the biggest adjustment for you?
Um, so I guess I'll give the background now. I am from a single parent household. I was raised by my mother. My grandparents lived right next door, but it was me, my brother, my sister, and my mama in the house. So in my house growing up, everybody did everything. If dishes needed to be washed, me and my brother might go in there and bust some suds. If there was something that needed to be fixed, my mama knows or knew how to fix it. Cutting the grass, whoever before me and my brother were big enough to cut the grass, my grandma and my mama was outside cutting yards. So that's like that was just a thing. Um, Jasmine probably doesn't know how to turn on a lawnmower. She grew up in a house with her mother and her father, and there were certain things, of course, that her dad did that she never had to do or never had to learn how to do. Um, and so, coming together from those two very different backgrounds to form what is our union was a big adjustment. We had to learn what worked for us because when you marry someone, when you join in a union with someone, everything can't be just the way it was when you grew up. I can't. If my household now can't operate the way my household operated back in Kankakee, and our household now can't operate the way that Jasmine's household operated back in Zion. We had to figure out what works for Sheris and for Jasmine, and so that meant figuring out who was gonna do what. That meant figuring out. Just how everything was going to run. And so that was a big adjustment. Because for me, I was the oldest child and I'm a mama's boy. And so me and my mama did everything. But Jasmine didn't, she she had her own dynamic, and so bringing those two dynamics together was definitely a major adjustment. Something else I had to learn outside of just the differences in our backgrounds was that when you bring two personalities together, you have to learn how things are going to work. I was the type of person before I got married that what I was finna do was what I was finna do. And so getting married and now having to be accountable to another human being who has opinions about what happens in your life now was also a major adjustment.
That's
That's
good.
what I got.
Listen, pray for me because Jasmine is me. She is me. Cause who know how to turn that on? That's not my job. That's your boo
Do
daddy.
not turn that up.
I don't cut grass.
Pull
Hence
on the
why
lever
I
socket.
pay people to do these things. I don't know. So anybody
That's
want
the thing though. Like I feel like you don't if you don't know how to pay somebody to do it. But it is wise to know how to do it.
yeah.
Cause like somebody is like, what if? Like, what if, God forbid, you are in like a house where you don't have the money to pay somebody and you get fined thousands of dollars for not having your grass cut. What you gonna do? Get out there with some scissors? Nah, you gonna learn how to turn that lawnmower on.
Pray
Bet you will.
How to.
anybody else want to add to that? Okay. So the next question is, do men have timelines like women? So, women are like, I gotta get married by this day. I gotta or this age, and I have to have kids by this age. I gotta have a house by this age. Do men have timelines like that, or is that just a woman thing?
Um, I think depends on the upbringing of that gentleman. People with different backgrounds have different expectations. But I think in general, men do have timelines, but it's not as specific as women. Like a guy would be like, eventually I'm gonna get married. Eventually, I had kids, but like we ain't like. But by the time I'm 35, I got to have this, and this. It's like nah. And I think that's what gets under the women's skin a lot too. It's just like men are just like, we get there, right? And women like, I got a clock. My clock is ticking. I got to like 37 to pop these kids out there. I might not be having. But I don't know how old everybody is, but that's the situations that I keep running into is women just like, hey, I gotta be married and have kids by 37, 38 because I might not be able to do it when I hit 40. And it's like, wow, okay, that's a thing.
And it's a lot. Brandon, did you want to add to that?
I was gonna say, he kind of touched on it the end, but I think a lot of women create the timeline because of that biological clock. Whereas in men, although we can have children at 70, 80, whatever, ever, that's not as important for us at that time. So I think a lot of men more so focus on like career goals and like career timelines rather than like the family timeline.
Yeah. And that's understandable. Like you said, men have a different timeline in the sense that there are certain things that they can do far beyond us. My grandfather had his last child at 68. So,
Let's just say.
mhm,
Right.
Men
yeah,
can shoot forever.
and we cannot. Okay,
Women only have so many targets.
we're born with all of our targets. Okay,
Right.
oh, that's a real thing. And last but certainly not least, Brennan, do you think the bar is set too low for men? So there is a TikTok trend right now where men are getting on talking about whether or not they feel like the bar is too low for them, like they don't have to do much. So how do you feel about that?
I think it depends on the audience, honestly. So some some women that I've seen, some relationships that I've seen, yes, the bar it's really doesn't take much at all. But depending on the type of woman that the man wants or the type of man that the woman wants, I think that's null and void. So yes, there are the women or the individuals that it doesn't really take much to be with you or to be with you forever. Whereas there are the other folks that have like their laundry list of things that they want. So it depends on the person, honestly, to me.
Anybody else? No. Okay. Well, those are all my questions. I am going to yield the floor to the men. Again, I have no clue what is going to happen.
I want to go first. You want to go
Lord.
first?
No, I get to go first.
Best friend. Dang.
Popcorn, however y'all want to do it, figure it out.
Rock, paper, scissors, go. Rachel.
Guys.
No,
Paris, go first.
You said who?
You.
I got okay. I'm gonna go because I got my question and it's a burning. So, Joy, you are a single woman. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you are a single woman that's living holy. Am I correct?
Kind hard. Crazy.
So, how do you deal with how do you deal with the urges that come with being single?
So, I stay busy. I stay very busy. And it took a lot because let me be very clear. When I first moved to the city that I live in now, um, I had a sneaky link because who was gonna know? So I had a sneaky link. But when I chose to live for the Lord for real and stop playing and do right, I stay busy a lot. I keep a very tight schedule, and a lot of people think it's just because I like to be involved in things, and I do like to be involved. I like the things that I am a part of, but also what I have learned for me, because every person is different, is that if I tire myself out enough during the day, even if my hormones start raising at night, I'm too tired to get up and do anything. So that helps me a lot. Another thing that helps me most of the time is I am a youth leader and I am very particular about living what I am teaching my kids. I don't want to be a liar. I am honest with them that I do struggle and that sometimes I do fail, sometimes I do pass, but I really do want to be somebody that they can look up to. So they come here quite often and they eat up my food, and then I'm too tired because I don't have teenagers in my house all weekend. So that is my method.
All right, got my question out the way.
Okay. Who's next?
Ain't Brandon?
Right. Brennan, go.
So, if you were given $2 million to fund any project for Singles Exchange, how would you use the money?
2 million? Let's be clear. If I were given $2 million, Singles Exchange would be inside of my community center that I open. Singles Exchange would have an office. I would pay all 7 of my staff, and I would open my community center. So just proceed that into the atmosphere. I received all of that. Yes. So one of my long-term goals is to open a community center. But as I said in the video with the ladies, it's Singles Exchange to the world below. Like Singles Exchange is not going anywhere. Even when I'm married, Singles Exchange is here to stay because I think it's valuable and it offers something to the world that we have not seen. So it'll still be here, but I will also be able to fund more in-person projects and more merchandise and things. Like one of my biggest things that I did not know is how much merchandise costs. Okay, I cried when I went to pick up them t-shirts, and she told me how much I had to pay, and I was like, my chest.
You want? I can put
um,
something on it.
Listen, so I would definitely there are tons of things that I have written out and planned. Um an app is going to be in the works in the next 2 years. Like all of those things that would help Singles Exchange to get a solid stream of income. Those are the things that I would fund. So soon, very soon,
I'm in agreement with that in Jesus' name.
in Jesus' name, because I want y'all to get paid. Cheers.
All right, I have 5 questions.
Listen, and we're gonna let y'all ask all y'all questions whenever y'all ready. But we're gonna start with one.
Let's do this one. This is the one I texted you about. That's written out like it's the interview with Dr. Roberts. And so it says, we know that social media is the way of the world. And during this pandemic, a lot of us have had to adapt, and some new platforms have emerged. One of which is Clubhouse. Clubhouse will play a role in the future, or do you think it's something that's here today?
Okay, you said, do I think Clubhouse is here to stay?
Yeah, like, do you think it'll be more significant um, than what it already is? Like, will it be something that Singles Exchange kind of gravitate towards? And do you think that Clubhouse is here to stay, or is it a fad?
I think honestly, I think that Clubhouse is going to be a really long fad. I think that like pretty much any other social media, at some point it'll kind of phase out because other than Facebook, all of the other ones have kind of phased. But um Clubhouse is a very lucrative tool. Like it is very vital. I personally was very skeptical to join Clubhouse, but once I did, I immediately saw the benefit of being on there. And actually, an hour before this video, I was scheduled to be on a moderator in a room on Clubhouse, and their service crashed. So, um, I think that once they get all of their kinks worked out, I think it's a great tool, because a lot of people are using it for the sake of, just meeting some, just being social. But so many more people are using it for business connections, and they're able to connect with people all the way across the world. I've been in rooms with people that's in China and, in the UK and in Africa, simply because of this one app. And don't get me wrong, like I think all social medias have the ability to do that, but the algorithm of Clubhouse is set up so much differently, that you're able to connect with people that are outside of your sphere, because we kind of follow the same people on every social media. Like I definitely follow all of y'all on the same social medias. So I think that the difference is Clubhouse connects you with people that are outside of your normal sphere of influence. So I think it'll be here a while, but not forever.
Can I piggyback on your question, Joy?
Sure.
Um, so I agree. I think Clubhouses will be here for a while, but I think once it opens up to everyone, because it's and loses its exclusivity, a lot of the professionals and the big people that's been on it will kind of like shy away from it, which could present an opportunity for like Singles Exchange to use it as a platform. But also, it could be a handicap because people will stop going to Clubhouse because the big name people stop coming. So that's what I feel like the trend of Clubhouse is going to be.
I totally agree. I totally agree. All right, Justin.
Hey, no, I'm joking. So I think Brennan kind of took one of my questions. So I'm going to ask this: is Singles Exchange something that you immediately fell in love with, or is it something that took you some time to kind of be like, all right, I guess I'll do it, and then you know.
So, fun fact, Singles Exchange was birthed in 2019.
Mhm.
A year prior, my pastor, we were in the car. I don't even know where we were going or why we were in the car together, but I was in the car with my pastor and two of my teenagers, and he asked me to take over our church's singles ministry. And Sheriff and I go to the same church, so he know I love my pastor. I would do whatever he asked me to do. I gave that man the quickest no on earth and sat there and looked at him. No.
God
I
bless the
would've
Lord.
done that. Reason being, for one, I did have a lot on my plate, but also I didn't want to do singles ministry. In my brain, I was like, I'm trying to be married in the next 2 years. Single. I don't want to do that. So I was just like, nah, I'm good, G. And kept it pushing. So when Singles Exchange became a thing, um, it was only supposed to be for one event. It was literally supposed to be for the month of April, and then it was supposed to die. And it didn't. People kept requesting it, and I enjoyed it. I found myself enjoying putting the content together. So after a whole lot of whoopings, I was like, all right, Lord, clearly this is what I'm supposed to do.
I guess.
Nevertheless, not my will. So yeah, it definitely had to grow on me. Not that I didn't enjoy it, because I did. I always enjoyed having conversations, and like Sherry said, I like to play devil's advocate. So let me put something out there and to get your mind thinking. But I didn't want to do it long term. But now that I'm here, we in here.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Round two. So do you have another question?
Yes. When will Singles Exchange drop their collected Bust It Challenge video?
Drop it.
So Y'all are a part of Singles Exchange, so y'all let me know when y'all are ready because
Me nor my wife will be fussing.
all right.
From over here. The Murrays are out. God bless you. God keep you. May His grace shine upon you. Amen.
I gotta get the right knee braces to participate. But
The way
football football injuries and all that good stuff.
I'm just fat. Who gonna get me up off this ground? I've been
That's all you need to
hurt.
hear.
Absolutely
Get up
not.
in here.
Hell no.
I need life alert. So no, I would like to us to do some fun like TikTok challenges. Lisa has sent me a few that she would like us to do that are a lot more simple. So we are gonna make some guest appearances, but
Is it like pop it, not bust it? Like,
I don't know. Pray it because my knees ain't gonna.
intercede for it. My God.
Robo C. Hey, go.
See? Call him. The angels from
Brandon,
Africa.
do you have another question?
Y'all so churchy.
So churchy.
I do. What was your most awkward hookup?
My most awkward hookup.
Awkward or the worst, whichever one you choose.
I'm gonna go with awkward. So it was my freshman year of college, and
Hey, I was there.
you were there somewhere. I don't know where you were because I lived in the dorms at the time, but it was my freshman year of college, and how do I say this without putting too much of my business out there? It was somebody that was an actual friend, somebody that I knew prior to college, and it was just really awkward. So it was kind of like one of them things where it happened and then we never spoke of it again. Like literally to this day, we never spoke of it again. So um yeah, we just don't talk about that and we act like it didn't exist and we move
What
on.
made it awkward though?
Just because we were friends, like we had been friends for years, like from childhood. So it was very, very awkward. Just because I don't even think we saw each other in that light. It was just one of them type of things. Being fast in college. So I mean not so shares.
Yeah, I had that one on here.
Open your Bible.
Because I was about to expound on that question. I was about to be like, look,
No more details can be given in order to protect that person's identity.
Let's see. Let's ask this one. It says, "What have you learned about yourself since starting Singles Exchange?"
Whoa. So the girls asked me that, and I would even say, what have I learned about myself in quarantine to add to that? So, um, one thing that I am constantly relearning is that I am a factory machine of ideas. So I can push out an idea in a heartbeat and have the whole thing like, oh, we should do this. And this is the idea. And we should have these people to speak at the event. And we should have these people to be the vendor. Like I can push out a whole event, but then I'm gonna want to do it like right then. And I have to learn to restrain to actually see, is this feasible, is this what's going to work. Like even you guys may remember I was talking about having a event at the gun range for February. Clearly we're still in the house. We can't go nowhere. So how are you gonna have an event outside, Joy? We can't go outside. So just learning to slow down and say, okay, write this down because it's a great idea. And you can probably do it eventually, but you can't do everything right away. Because I don't calculate in, an unexpected bill coming up or a death in the family or, just life, things happening that I may not be able to give this all of my time and attention. So I am learning to be more disciplined and not trying to execute every single idea that I have right now. Justin,
Listen, patience is a virtue because I'm him. Okay. When
let's
we doing it
do
today,
that.
let's go. I need to do it
Yeah,
5 o'clock.
right now. That'd be my move. Let's just do it right now. Let's do it.
See? Amen. So this question kind of came from an experience today. I'm not gonna get the details, but I just want to know from your perspective because you go home a lot. Like it's not overkill, but you do go home a lot. So once you've moved out, like how do you conduct yourself when going back home? Like even if it's just for a visit, like when you're going back to your parents' house, like I don't know how you conduct yourself.
So that's a hard question for me because typically when I go home, I am in need of a mental break. And so
Mm,
I go home with the intent to do nothing. I want to go there and not have to be an adult. I don't want to have to cook and do laundry and drive myself around. Like Brennan knows very well, and Zoe too. I will go to Chicago and not even say nothing for 3 days because I'm just trying to relax. Um, back a few years back before I got to be a grown up with like full responsibilities. Um, I would conduct myself as I would in my own house, just with a little more respect. So, like, I'm not coming in and out of my parents' house at 1 and 2 in the morning. However, my friends will definitely come over and we will sit there and talk till 1 and 2 in the morning because Brennan has been there laughing and clowning real late. So, of course, that hasn't been a thing lately because of COVID, but prior to all of that, um, being an adult, but like I said, with a little more restraint, just out of respect. And my parents are not super strict anyway anymore because they like we empty nesters, all our kids grown, half our grandkids grown. Leave us alone. So it's good for me because I get to hang out with them and I just be mad because they like to get up real early and I don't.
listen,
Yeah,
yeah.
pray for them. All right. Any other questions, Shares? Do you want to ask any of your other questions?
I have a question. When will we have the singles exchange shoot your shot show?
So the Shoot Your Shot show is probably going to be my goal is to do a bunch of stuff Valentine's Day weekend. I really don't want the singles to feel like it's another Valentine's Day and I'm single still. And I done seen people get married in quarantine and I'm still single. So a little drop early. We are having a game night February 13th. But I'm thinking the 12th we'll hop on Clubhouse or maybe even just hop on Facebook Live and do a little shoot your shot mix.
Fonzo, you trying to have sex?
Right. Are you trying to have the sex?
Am I trying to have the what?
The
The
sex.
sex.
The sex? The sexy time with my wife? What?
Also trying to have a private busted challenge, y'all.
Okay, listen, that's his prerogative. Somebody is probably willing.
My DMs and my inbox is open 24 hours a
So,
day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
so is the door. You just
I
ask
am.
first, then you can open the door.
I mean, what they said. I had a saying. I was about to say it and I forgot it because
Okay.
Because of COVID.
let's just say that.
Anybody else have any questions they want to ask Brandon?
So, do you think dating has been easier or better for you before or after the online world?
Do you mean like before
Like
COVID?
online dating, like
It's a good
before all that
question.
really started to pick up.
Um, so I have never had good luck with online dating, like never. And I have probably tried every website that there is, even some of the ones that you have to pay for. Um, I think the only ones I haven't done at this point are like Match and eHarmony. And somebody definitely texted me and said they would pay for a month of eHarmony for me. So, um,
Sitting in my way.
right. So I don't have a lot of good luck with online dating. I don't know if it's because I get bored easily or because I do have so much on my plate that I'll forget to check in. Like with Hinge, some guy messaged me Sunday and I didn't even remember to look at it till yesterday. So online dating has never been that great for me, but I'm trying to get better because we in a pandemic and that's pretty much the only way you're gonna meet somebody right now. So um, I think that in general, especially during the pandemic, a lot of people did find more luck, but it was because either they had more time to do it or because they were trying to take their mind off of other stuff. So I'm trying to pour more of myself into online dating to not have to think about, we in a whole pandemic and so many people are dying and civil unrest and, trying to find a happy place. So pray for
Hey, username 23457. You cute,
literally.
you know.
I know literally three people that met and married in quarantine. So amen.
Listen,
Share is your next question.
you're
Okay.
muted.
Unmute yourself, sir.
Nobody hear you.
I feel like Sherry's finna preach every time he asks a question. Open your Bible to question number 7.
It says, what advice would you give your younger self? Let's go back to like Joy getting ready to come to SIUE. What would you tell her?
Whoa, that's good. What advice would I give to my younger self? Um, I would tell 17-year-old Joy that go for the nice guy. Go for the nice guy. I would tell her that she is beautiful and don't let anybody try to persuade you otherwise. I would definitely tell her to be a lot more focused. Um, and even though, because when I went into college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I would have still told her be focused on school. Don't let social life and other, organizations and such be the forefront. Get out of school so you don't have to pay all that money. I think the last
Facts.
thing, listen, I think the last thing I would tell 17-year-old Joy is be nice to you, be active, eat healthier, do more so that later on it's not so hard to stay healthy. Cause I feel like I picked up a lot of bad habits and now trying to break them at 31 is awful. So that's what I would tell her.
You didn't learn it from me. I promise you didn't.
Me and Zoe would go through a box of cereal a day. He is not
Eat,
telling the truth.
eat. Be seated at
Peanut
the
butter
table.
crunch.
My God.
Oh, I
Faithful.
love it. I have another question.
Okay.
So, Joy, how many kids is too many coming into a relationship?
Oh, like, so how many would I accept?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, anything over two, I'm not going. I
Does
can't.
that
Oh, he froze.
like,
Yeah, Justin.
huh?
Say it again.
You
I
froze,
said
bro.
it was a 2 period. Like, does baby mama count matter too? Like one per or like 2 from one? Or,
Baby mama count definitely counts. I have met some guys that have had, a family full with one person and it just didn't work out. But at this point, I think about I still want to have at least two of my own and or adopt one. So if you got 5 kids already and we have three more, it's a no for me. And don't get me wrong, anybody who knows me knows that I am an advocate for big families. I get mad when people try to say they need to stop having kids. And, I don't like that because I think that is beautiful. But really, realistically speaking, for me, who wants to own a business or two, my husband will probably own a business or two. Um, not even just for money, but just for the sake of time. I want to be able to spend time with my kids. And it's a lot harder to spend time with 8 individual kids instead of 3, plus the 5 that I done adopted along the way, plus the ones from work, plus the ones from church. Like it's too much. So yeah, it's enough. God
they
bless.
got 45 in the bench at the house.
Listen, because y'all know I got 5 kids at all times. So what's the difference? I got 5 god kids right now and one on the way. So
That's just so good.
I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for answering my question. Much respect to the moderators of the room. Joy, I love your vibe. I'm following you.
okay, thank you. Thank you kindly. See, that's that clubhouse etiquette. That's that clubhouse. Anybody else? Any other questions? Shares? Did we get all of your questions or did we miss one?
No, that we're good.
Okay. Anybody else?
Are
Fine.
you on the battlefield for your Lord?
always. Let's be clear. As my pastor like to say, he from Kenlock, but we like to fight. So
And we love it. Listen, you got to show people that you're from Peter's side of the kingdom. Listen, you might lose an ear, you might
I'm
lose an ear.
outside all day. So
Okay, Joy. My last question, and then I think I'm done.
okay.
What is your goal? Like, what is your list? What are you looking for before you say yes to a relationship?
To a relationship, okay. So number one, he has to be a godly man. And I don't mean he just go to church because that's his grandma church. You have to have your own relationship with God.
Sorry, that sounded like it came from a place. Where
It,
did that come from?
it did. It came from a place. You have to have your own relationship with God. Um, and a real one. Like you need to know him for yourself. And the reason being is that you guys know I do a lot in church, but I also spend a lot of time with God. And I don't need a man that's gonna be like, dang, you gotta go pray again. Dang, you gotta have them kids over here again. Like I need somebody who understands the ministry side of who I am. And if you know God, then he gonna teach you how to love me the way that I need to be loved. So that's that. Um, he has to be employed and have his own car. Those actually go together. Like you have to have both of those things. That is a bad experience for me. Two bad experiences actually. You gotta have your own job and your own car. Um, Even if you live with your people, do you have your own job and your own car? Because you could be saving to buy a house, you could just be trying to help your parents out, whatever. But those are a major requirement. And then like the basic stuff, clean hygiene, um, somebody that is able to keep himself up. I think the last thing for me is somebody who loves kids because like I said, I have kids around me all the time. So if he gonna be mad when we have kids over, it's not gonna work because it's gonna be once a month and you're gonna be mad once a month. So um
But
that
times of the year, Lord.
listen, it's not more than that. So somebody who loves kids. And I think Zoe said earlier, you can't be dumb. Like, yeah, that's something. I'm not even saying you gotta have a degree, but are you intelligent enough to hold an intellectual conversation?
That's
So
all.
I'm my four. I'm not super picky.
All
But
right. Well, I'm just gonna put this shout out here. If you are watching and you feel like you are he for Joy, her personal phone number will be on the bottom of the screen here.
wait, Fun fact though, mine I have had the same number since seventh grade. So
Listen, be consistent, be steadfast, don't
probably
move.
should call me from then if they still have that number. Well, if that be all, I've enjoyed you guys. I have thoroughly enjoyed you guys. This went a lot better than I thought because y'all had me nervous. Y'all had me nervous because y'all didn't know what y'all was gonna say.
Well, I mean, I have a whole nother list of questions if you want to get into those questions.
Oh, we're good.
Okay,
We're
I'm just
just
checking.
saying after dark, so
So, for those of you who are still watching or listening, thank you for tuning in. Check us out in 2 weeks. Also, this video will be uploaded 1 week after the original audio goes on the podcast app. So, thanks for hanging out with us. We are excited to be back. And you will see the guys again real soon. But I'm not going to tell you when. You got to wait to find out. So, holla at your girl. Happy Tuesday. Let's exchange.